Welcome to the Manufacturers Cup Race, championship racing at not its finest, because I highly predict this is going to be a race that is going to be chaotic, that there's going to be egos on the line as soon as people see World Series qualifier and championship race, any of those words. We'll get the little lizard in the back, your amygdala, the little lizard part of your brain. It gets people acting like absolute animals. So watch, tune in, continue to watch to find out, are people going to be dirty dogs? Are they going to be dirty donkeys? Or are we going to get some professional styled racing? Of course, we're all rookies, amateurs in this. Some people cheat their C rating. They start a second or third account to have a lower rating, so they're actually B drivers or even A drivers, but we'll know from their qualifying lap times. You know, if they're pulling a 120 something or a 130 something, they are not your regular human drivers. They're from another planet. Let's just get into the live stream. Sorry, I'm not texting people from the channel. I'm just trying to get the information from individuals in the channel here. So welcome to Gran Turismo 7, still my favorite racer, and this is the championship race. All right, you want to get out, you want to get your car set up, of course, practice out on soft. So we got 15 minutes to practice. I think we're gonna have to run about a -2 here for stability under braking. We discovered that last night. If you want to catch our lobby races, join our lobby races. That's where we found this out. We were running +2, and let me tell you, +2 for your brake balance. That means you're freeing up the front brakes, braking more with the rear brakes. Let me tell you what that was like. It was great for turning into the turns. A little slower braking, but the turn in was fantastic. We could be on the brakes a bit and still turning in. Now, not so much. We got to get our braking done. We have to anticipate the braking and get it done in advance. But we have stability under braking. The rear end's not sliding out because there's a lot of elevation changes here on this wunderbar German track. And it's a dangerous one for the mid-engines like the 911 because you can lose control when you're under braking. Oh my goodness, it's Sebastian13, a fellow YouTuber and a very impressive YouTuber. He went from starting off this sim racer to being an A driver in no time at all. So huge success story. Folks, check out his channel. Hit that like button on his channel and give him a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. All right, so we're gonna try to survive this, hopefully not too chaotic race. And if it is chaotic, it's gonna be driven by one of two things. Either people's egos, because the word championship is there, or Manufacturers Cup triggers some people in some wild driving, or because, well, this track is pretty chaotic. So that was a good example right there, touching the wall, no problem, Sebastian. So right there, I ate the wall because when you got more power to your front calipers, they're squeezing on those front discs, and when they're squeezing hard on the front discs, it doesn't take much to have those front calipers squeeze the front discs so much that your front tires aren't going to rotate fully or at all. And when that happens, you just kind of straight plow. You just drive straight even though the steering wheel is turned. You got to have wheel rotation to get the car to follow where you're pointing it. But -2 is almost necessary to not lose control under braking. I know Super Doofus, our general manager, he's got a good idea here. He's running his brake balance, if I recall correctly, at 0. And it's turned out to be a happy balance for him. You can get just a tiny bit of trail braking in. Successful trail braking. You can always try to trail brake, but your front brakes are too strong, you'll just plow forward. Like here, I can't do much trail braking, so I gotta get my braking done. Yeah, but there, it's nice and stable. So the car has turned out to be pretty stable on -2 brake balance. A lot of turns here that kind of, sometimes you're going in too fast. So having that plus, thank you so much for wishing me good luck. I do need it. I am but a simple amateur rookie driver, working to try to get 5-6 hours in of racing per week. But of course, that's for me not enough to propel me into the upper echelons of the A League. Got pretty close to the B League at midpoint last year when I first started 12 months ago. After 6 months, seven or 8 months, we were very close to getting into the B. We started competing with B drivers, and then we just had several races where we had no idea what we were doing, and we got booted, and a lot of chaos on the track. Booted into last place many times, speared into another stratosphere, really. And we ran the D for several months, couple of months. All right, slower corners, accelerate in second. Thank you so much for that advice, Sebastian. That'll keep me from spinning out when I'm coming off. So here, and then up into second as I take off so I don't spin out the rear end. Hey, Sunjib! I'm sorry I didn't catch all that message, Sunjib. And I don't have my phone on quite in the right spot, and this is not a track that I can afford to grab my phone and start taking my concentration off the track. Should have been probably full throttle through there and here, so we'll let this car by. Oh, he's also taking it cautiously. We're gonna take off, and first we gotta be real gentle with the throttle so we don't spin out. Hold the speed here, so don't completely let go of the throttle. The car does de-accelerate quite a bit when you let go of the throttle. Oh, we're gonna be careful here. A little double off track action. Three seconds. Hopefully people aren't already pounding on each other. That'll be a bad precursor to the main event. Vinny the Kid. Well, Vinny, I'm going to be passing you, but I'm going to do it cautiously. So please, despite your livery, don't be a snake about it and bite me. Being a snake, the expression comes from the fact that snakes will randomly, if you get too close to them on your horse, they will bite your horse's ankles, and then you get kicked off, and you might end up paralyzed or breaking something from getting kicked off your horse, all because of a silly snake biting a non-threat. The horse obviously has no interest in harming. Oh, and we got a little touch there from the car behind us. What a uncautious driver, but these things happen. That there shouldn't be a push to pass, certainly not a takeout to pass. That cost us a little bit of time, gave us a touch, it spun us out. Not a full spin out though, so I'm happy about that. Count my blessings. Trying to live life with as much gratitude as possible. But -2 turning out to be pretty good as long as we don't get caught off guard by any of these turns. Oh, he did the professional move. He moved off to the side out of the main line. He worked really hard to push us out of the way to pass us, but has a time penalty, huge time penalty to pay off anyways. Now for the main race, you absolutely are going to want, I don't think there's a benefit in the qualifier to drafting, but in the main race, you're going to want to draft that section. Get behind a car and let them break wind for you. That is going to be pivotal. Oh no! Well, that's not going to be good for our lap time. And that was my fault. Both of our faults. I thought I'd go in and he'd go wide, but he decided to, despite starting from the outside. Well, we'll start this lap off at a slow pace. Lap 1 doesn't count, it's a warm-up. So this is the lap that counts. Hopefully we won't get booted when trying to pass, because we might have a bit more speed here than Vinny the Kid. I'm not even going to try +2. -2 has done us wonders. So yeah, slow start to the lap after hitting the wall right before the cross line. The lap marker. Soon to be finish line in about 8 minutes. The key to this track, and really every track and almost every turn, is to catch the apex. Catch the apex and turn the steering wheel as much as needed, but not more than needed. And of course, Sebastian, you're an A driver. If you've got tips that you want to share, please do share. I encourage you to share them. Just drop them in the chat for the racing community. We're not racing at a regular time, so normally we run between 15 to 30 in the live stream. Right now we're running pretty low because we are very much off our regular time. .911 is great on this track as long as you got your brake balance at the right place, or if you run in the pluses, that you know when, because of the elevation, you know when you can be on the brakes going through a turn and when you can't. And with any mid-engine car, if you avoid touching the grass is gonna throw you pretty horribly. All right, I'm maintaining pace with the car in front. That's a good sign. Oh my goodness, are we gonna get rain? I certainly hope we're not gonna get rain on the track today. That will be very difficult on this track, as last minute braking will not be tolerated and speeds too high won't be tolerated as well. Oh, there's my inability to trail brake, and that's a major issue. We can't. Oh, he's coming in hot. Hopefully they ghost us. We've got an inability to trail brake, so this is going to be a pretty bad qualifier. We're going to lose about 20 seconds there, unfortunately. So with no trail brake ability, without losing control, let's try this at +2. Find +2, it's going to be harder to survive not spinning out, but we'll survive some turns. We're gonna lose out on some turns. We're gonna survive some turns just because we're able to trail brake into them and actually get the right speed to survive. Let's just, since our qualifying lap is pretty pooched as it is, let's see if we can run this a wee bit better. Yeah, there we go. We're in the turn. We're going through the turn, even though we're still on the brakes. Being that this track is very difficult to memorize 100% perfectly with all its brake points, I'm going to have to rely on that right there for survival. See here. But the back end on the elevation changes while you're on the brakes does want to slide out a little bit, so it's a wee bit hairy. So nice to be able to correct our speed while we're going through the turn. I had disaster after disaster running plus two last night with the team. Let's see if I've been able to correct. It's just once in a while there'll be an elevation change. You're going to be on your brakes and the back end's just going to slide out. Thank you, Knight Rider Jim. But we can, there we were going too fast and we were able to make some light corrections. Where you look on this track is oh so important as well. You really have to look ahead to not get caught by surprise by a turn coming up, and keep an eye on the gear suggester. So there's that +2. We're on the brakes and going downhill, so right away the back end slides out. I think 0 is going to be the best bet. Gain a little stability being at 0. A lot of sections you got to be flat, foot flat to the floor, pedal to the metal, but it just seems so unnatural because there's just so many turns. I'm not used to going flat out on turns. Back end always wanting to slide out as we go through these elevation changes during the turns. But we're surviving. We're not spinning out. It's just we're at the limit. We're at the limit. Vinny the Kid saying -22 here. Vinny, I hear you. It is about -23, -22 here as well. We do have someone driving with us from Virginia. Oh my goodness. So those, I'm not sure if those are real C drivers pulling in the 820s and 830s. Mind you, had I not crashed here, I'd also be running at least 15 seconds faster with my crash. I also started the lap very slow because I got sent to the wall. 8:49, so best case scenario, cut 20 seconds off that for the 2 crashes. a high 820s, but still, fastest lap coming in the 820s, if I'm not mistaken. No, 832. That's going to be very difficult. The top 4 drivers are, I'd say, more B drivers. Decent speed B drivers, too. Getting song 2 going for my daughter. Not texting away on you all, just got the daughter here, keeping an eye on as she takes her nap, and she likes to take a nap with a lullabies. Double check, it is running. Alright, so we're not bad. We're going to start in 7th, right in the middle of the pack, sort of the ultimate danger zone of it all. Now, we did test this out last night. We did a mock lobby of this race, a mock race in our lobby, the JCCR Racing Team lobby, where all the pros and amateur right here coming in and racing, and I discovered that you can do 3 laps on softs. My 3rd lap, finishing my 3rd lap, my softs were still livable. I certainly wouldn't do a 4th lap with them. So what I'm thinking is 2 laps on the mediums, not push speed, and then we're going to switch to the softs, because then we know we can, if we go to the same speed as the previous 3 laps, guaranteed no, oh sorry, well yeah, we're going to start 2 laps on mediums and then pit. So our last 3 laps we can push and we can get away with more than what we could on those mediums. Now we got 4 minutes and 20 seconds to the race starting. I'm going to run upstairs. I'm going to get a refreshment. I've got the live now that I can catch more of. Hey, Knight Rider Jim, thank you so much for wishing me luck. And Sebastian13 giving great pro advice right here, saying 2nd gear, not first out of the corner. You can start accelerating earlier and harder. Wunderbar, my friend. I'll be back. Give me just a moment. All right, let's see what ChatGPT has to say about brake balance. I'm curious. I always find a bit of interesting information from the ChatGPT or Gemini. Today we're racing round 4 of the Manufacturers Cup, which is the Nuremberg Ring. We are driving the Porsche 911 We've got the choice of soft and medium racing tires. What do you suggest for brake balance for this track? Oh, we got Mountaineer Scott behind us in the Genesis. He actually gave us, we had a little contact with him and we got sent to the wall. I think that was accidental on both our parts. All right, so for information here, we got Ford GT7 Manufacturers Cup Porsche 911 RR layout at the Nuremberg Nordschleife. Brake balance matters a lot because of the elevation changes, trail braking zones, and rear engine weight shift. Recommended brake balance, baseline. Brake balance +2 to +1 to +2 toward the front, which when we pick it out here, it's -1, -2. This is the sweet spot for most drivers in race conditions. Why this works. The 911's rear engine already gives you massive rear grip under braking. Too much rear bias and you've got snap oversteer in downhill braking zones. That happened to us quite a bit during testing last night. And that's for corner Adenauer Forst and Wirschäfen Flasgarten. No, it's not Flasgurten, Flasgarten. Slight front bias keeps the car stable and predictable, especially on cold tires or worn tires. Tire-specific tweaks, racing softs, brake balance +1. Softs give strong grip already, +1 keeps rotation without risking rear lockups, best for qualifying or short stints. Racing mediums, brake balance +2. So that's +2 to the front, of course, there's meaning. So different than what our actual gauge. So at brake balance +2, they're saying mediums need a bit more front help. Much safer late in the lap when tires start fading, better for long stints or traffic. Track-specific advice for Nordschleife. You may want to adjust mid-race depending on feel. Real feels nervous on downhill braking, go to +3. They mean -3. Car won't rotate in slow corners, drop to +1. They mean +1 to the front again. So wet curbs, dirty air, worn tires stay at +2 to +3. So they want the bias to the front. I'm asking for a clarification from ChatGPT. I said, so some more brakes on the front discs. And it says, yep, exactly. In GT7, a positive brake balance means more braking force to the front discs. So it's all about preventing that snap oversteer that we have in our 1991 Toyota MR2 in the real world. It's the right-hand drive, full JDM. Check that out all over on Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. But for now, we've got the Manufacturers Cup Round 4 at the Nürburgring, 24-hour. Let's get down to business. So as much as that +2 really helped me not lose control from lack of knowledge on the track, we now have a couple more laps underneath our belt, so maybe we can survive just the same. Try to catch the live chat here. All right, we got a Thomas up there at Pantera 89. Right ahead of us is Brandon B. Let's go, Brandon. Mountaineer Scott. Hopefully Mountaineer won't give us the drop kick from a tree. Bust Yo Chops. Definitely want to stay away from that. He's got a dirty name. I'd be very surprised if he's going to be a clean driver. Farty back there. Vinny the Kid. Snake Skin. Hopefully not a snake driver. Oh, and we started on the softs. My bad. So I guess we'll do the last two. We'll push, and the last two we'll take it a little calm once we know the track better. We'll run -1 as a happy medium here, so we can hopefully get a tiny bit of trail braking. 0, I guess, would be the absolute, well, the semi-safe choice. +2 is risking it a lot, but we don't go off track from having the wrong speed because we can correct speed in the turn. So it really is a dice up. Dicey choice we've made here. We'll run a -1 like we actually know the track, which we don't. Taking it on, not full amateur, 90% amateur here. Oh my goodness, thankfully he got ghosted. Oh my goodness, colliding with another car, 2 seconds, my goodness. That is a rough penalty for a light paint trade, resulting from me watching the ghost, and Pantera just really snuck up on me. I didn't expect such a difference in speed, and he's not the car I was watching. I was watching Brandon, who got ghosted, and I just went through him into Pantera. Thank you very much for lurking. Fantastic. Super doofus. This cloud cover taking a bit of the visibility from some of these turns. You go from having the sun right in your visor, right in the eye, to having a semi-dark situation, a low visibility situation. Oh, some pushing there, and it looks like if I just lightly touch his rear end, I will get a 2-second penalty, so let's watch out for that. Yet it's good. Penalties need to be high on this track, because otherwise people can just destroy themselves the whole way through. So I find this actually a good correction from the Gran Turismo 7 team. Alright, so we're now in 6th, but this 2-second penalty is going to be brutal because it's at the beginning of a straight. I think it's more like the end result is it's probably going to take 5-6 seconds off our lap. Yeah, I'm really feeling that I cannot trail brake. As soon as I trail brake, the rear end shoots out, so I'm not liking minus the front bias. Despite ChatGPT, I think at best I should run 0. To take care of that on the straight. Hopefully we don't crash out or smash out beforehand. Now we're under a yellow flag. I passed a car that was out in the dirt. Had I picked up a penalty from that, I'd have to say, that's it, I'm done. Gran Turismo, that's too much abuse, I'm out. So there, that's an example of, if we touch the brakes, we are goners. Our speed is just wrong, and we see that we're about to slide off track, and we touch the brakes with the -1 to the front bias. We are gonna be gone. Done like dinner. Burn. Mind you, pulling out of turns, being on the accelerator on the uphill, the back end did not slide out. We had grip. That was nice. But here, there we go. There's that. If you're on -1 or -2, meaning you've got more power to the front discs and you're going through a turn like that and you're on the brakes, your back end's going to want to slide out. But no, actually that would have been worse at +2. If you put the more power to the brakes, that we probably would have lost it there. braking in the turn downhill like that. It's the stronger the rear brakes are, the more they want to slide out. Just not crashing might be a huge key to taking several spots here. We're up 2 positions already and it's only lap 1. We'll just need maybe a touch of fuel, if any, when we go to pit. No, there's that. We're not on that much elevation there, and the back end wanting to slide out while we're under braking. And if you find that I'm wrong, let me know in the live stream. I'm here to learn and grow, and no one's gonna get everything right all the time. And it's through discussion that we all learn and grow. That's why free speech is so important. Otherwise you don't have learning and growing, you just have people being resentful that they can't express themselves. Full throttle through here, full throttle, and then after getting back to earth, after liftoff, and when your wheels touch back on the ground, that's when you're going to want to have a quick little session of some hard braking. -1 actually isn't bad at all. We haven't crashed out, the slide outs have been minor. Just have to get the timing on the turns properly, because if we're under braking and trying to turn, the car is just going to plow forward. But the braking is stable. We've got a nice little race with Thomas here. We are keeping pace together. We're a nice matchup, actually. 2 911s, not teammates, but I'd say definitely frenemies here when it's nice and tight like that. Mountaineer Scott, let's watch. 6.3 seconds behind us. What's a 2-second penalty gonna cost us? Oh, yeah, it's gonna cost us, I think at the end of this, 6 seconds. 6.3 seconds, he's gonna be right on me. Wow, do not get penalties on this track, because based on where that is a 6-second penalty, folks. Yeah, that's a 6-second penalty. I made a bit of the time back up, a half second or 0.4. But he was down to 0.9 difference, and we started at 6.3, so just basically 6 seconds for a 2-second penalty. Do not pick up penalties here. Drive safe. Don't even trade paint with someone. But I bet it's because it was the rear. Had it been the side of the car, I bet there would have been no effect, because someone hit us on the side here when passing, if I recall, and there's no penalty on them. Mountaineer. And it was fine. It was just a little paint trade. I was kind of in the way. Well, I was in his way, in the line he wanted to take. But it's all because that turn, it was surprisingly, the pack was not prepared for it. They went through pretty slowly, so no trail braking capabilities. As you can see, none at -1, so don't expect to trail brake. That is brutal. If you're on the brakes, you will plow forward. Hey, Game Brigade, it's going well. I'm just trying to adjust to -1 as a brake balance, because I've got no trail braking. And that means I got to be perfectly prepared for each turn and get all my braking done in advance. And that's just not who I am as a driver. But otherwise, we were chasing down 4th. We picked up a time penalty, lap 1. Someone in the front of the pack, I can't remember who, went through very, very slowly at Ferrari 296. I think it was Let's Go Brandon. And as such, I gave, like, here, it's slow, and I know if I tap, it's a 2-second penalty. So do not, like, make sure you've got braking distance with the car in front, because if you just touch their rear, you're going to pick up a 2-second penalty, and it's worth 6 seconds. That's what it's going to cost you overall. Add 6.3 second lead on Mountaineer Scott here. Mind you, that is some efficient braking there. Like here, if he's driving really slow, and if I touch him, I risk getting destroyed by the time police. Oh my goodness. That was rough. Oh, there's a little battle. He just knocked the Ferrari behind us just knocked Mountaineer Scott off the track for daring to pass him on a straightaway. That is not cool, Pantera. Actually, I think it's Pantera that I drove into lightly, and it didn't give him any negative effect. It was a light touch. No trail braking, so hard to adjust. It was a light touch of Pantera 89. That's the Ferrari 296. That is just a light paint touch, and we got a 2-second penalty costing us 6 seconds overall on our lap time, getting us passed by Mountaineer Scott. Now we've worked back and we've made it back. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, I'm gonna do 3 laps on softs. I think I've got it in me. I think the tires have it in them, and the only reason I didn't get horribly past there is there's a bad battle between Mountaineer Scott and Pantera 89. He started a war. He sent off the first missiles, I guess, when he hit Mountaineer Scott off the track on a straightaway. A little chaos there. Ego, I guess the fragile ego. It could have been a complete accident as well. These things happen. We can't really judge. We don't know what's going through, what the intent was. We don't know what's going through the mind of Pantera B. But he also gave us a hit on a straightaway, so maybe a lot of accidents, maybe just really does not accept being passed. It's his track and his position, and chaos will ensue if you go for a pass. So I'm going to run 0 on the softs. Oh, that's not good. You do not want to accidentally send your power lower. No need for it. The fuel is going to be just fine. So after this, we'll watch the tires near the end of this lap, but we'll probably drive one more lap on the softs. It's not guaranteed because those softs are not looking good. Like, they're okay now, but they're not going to look good at the middle of lap 3. It would be my prediction. Oh, I'm getting all my brake points wrong here. It's now here that we go down into first. Thankfully didn't pick up a penalty from that. That would have been unfortunate because he did a very legal and totally fine cut. It was a good clean cut. He didn't hit us in the process. But he cut and then braked. You can't avoid that. You cut me and you brake in front of me. Like, I wouldn't expect to pick up a 2-second penalty for that. Now we got to focus on the present. I haven't really been watching the ahead of the track. I've just been watching the immediate front of the vehicle, and that's one of the worst things you can do when racing. What do you think, Game Brigade, of the tires? Does this look like I need to pit and swap these softs off at the end of this lap? Or is it looking like I can get a nice lap out of them? There, I was afraid to use that brake, as I was afraid to lose the rear end. Come on. Woo, that's going to be a costly one. Brutal. Brutal. Full throttle through that fine section. "14 seconds plus the lead that we had, so that was a 15-second error easily, and actually that's 2 cars that passed us, not just one. So yeah, that was a full 20-second. Oh, if we push too hard, we will slide out. So maybe we're better on mediums, where we will be able to push hard for mediums. Oh well, nice to not have a penalty on this lap. Well, if I change the softs, I won't be the only one in the top 2nd and 3rd place getting off their soft tires right now. Haha, YOLO. Yeah, fair enough. Let's drive it like we've got 9 lives, I guess. I'd say you only live once. The YOLO got it all wrong. It's quite the opposite. You only live once, so make sure you live a good, moral life. It shouldn't be about just, the expression is about kind of YOLO, meaning do whatever is fun. It's a hedonistic expression, and I would say the fact that you only live once, you only get one try to get it right. Live your life right. Treat people with kindness and respect. Treat yourself with kindness and respect. Learn as much as you can, and live the most successful and ethically correct life possible. Oh, Bustio chops past us without a hit, so right on. Despite the name, definitely better luck than with Pantera. So no fuel is, I think no fuel is going to be needed. If it does, it's going to be an ever so slight sip of fuel. Starting to get the hang of the track. I always like the idea of one try, or like real racing, you get one try at it and that's it, good or bad. Mind you, the fact that I'm finally learning the track, I kind of feel like it's a shame to not give it a second try this afternoon, but it takes away the high risk factor of all of this. Well, there is one high risk to it all. I take an extra hour of my time away from the family. Alright, coming in 2.7 seconds faster for this section, despite the tires being worn. The track and I are getting used to each other, despite the worn tires. Oh, there we go! Pushed it a wee bit too hard. Spoke too soon. That was a hold my beverage moment, if I ever saw one. Gonna have to take it easy on these tires for about 20 seconds. It'll be a good test to know what the softs can do. So thankfully I'm doing this right in the morning, so you all can watch and learn. Can the soft tires be counted on for a third lap? They're starting to slide a little in the turns if I'm pushing. It's already starting to happen a little. It's nothing that can't be corrected for. They gave me the grip I needed there. Oh, this is close racing with Marco. This is how I love racing to be done. It's the most exciting racing. However, you got to keep in mind, if you can't see the track and all you see is car, you risk having an accident. But I did a good, not a push pass, but a sly pass. Oh, he flashed his lights, let me know he's coming in hot. Good job. Well done. He was coming in hot for a pass. So it was really nice that he warned me with his lights. Brake balance is at 0, and I'm very pleased with the overall results. I can get a tiny bit of trail braking in, very light stuff for some minor corrections, and we still have the stability on the rear end through all these elevation changes. Like here I'm on the brakes and the back end isn't giving me any snap overs here. Got to give it to Vimy the Kid. He is not buckling under the pressure whatsoever. Well done, Vinny the Kid. Maybe there I spoke too soon. Usually when you go off track like that and you got someone behind you, it's often because you're just trying to push a little harder to not get past. And what the pros on the channel, the legends, remind me often is race the track, not the car in front or behind you, just like in life. worry about performing the best you can, not so much about the people around you. Ooh, those tires are starting to lose a bit of grip here. So I think we'll be able to conclude that you can get through lap 3 on softs. But it requires a bit less pushing on your third lap. Should have been getting onto this straight 135 miles per hour. So a little 1 second mistake there in the turn, maybe 2. Oh, that's not the pit. Okay. That'll cost me a couple seconds. Well, learning maybe for the race for later today. Don't refuel 2 laps less. Yeah, we don't need to refuel. I might just take a slight hit of it so we're not coming in right at 0. There we go, just a 1 second hit of fuel. Make sure when you're coming out of the pits, do not cross the white line. All right, so our pit is done. We're in the 10th. We're in a good position to push, to hold the back end stable. We should turn the brake bias 1 more towards the front. Just so we don't lose control while braking. You made that mistake once on +2? Sorry, 2 to the front. For the brake bias, we could not trail brake through there, and as a result, we just slid right off track. So we made a few errors with a little tweaking. It won't be too hard to probably, I'd say, definitely get a top 8. This race, top 8 is still very, very doable. Oh, good luck, Game Brigade. Best of luck. Godspeed. That's 1 down. 1 more to go, but he's 13 seconds ahead. We can get that. We can catch up 13 seconds on 1 lap. But remember, you gotta race the track, not the clock. So keep your mind and focus on the track. I almost did a fatal mental error there. There's that danger with your brake balance being too low. You have on the hill sections, you have snap oversteer and the rear end comes out. That's why you don't want too much brakes on those rear tires. every other car, I'd be in second gear for that section coming out of the turn, but with the Porsche 911 having such a long first gear, we can take off in first just so that we're still in the power band. So the final laps, you want to start on mediums, because the final laps you're more likely to find yourself alone on the track and you can really work on pushing it. So I'd say first 2 laps jump in on mediums, last 3 laps hit up softs. That would be my main advice for today. Snap oversteer. Not assisted at all by that elevated curb, so the snap oversteer was partially caused by that elevated curb, and it cost us 2 positions. Finally getting these sections without excessive braking. Except for there, should have flown through there. I saw the one, got worried, and laid on the brakes. Ideally you want to stay banked that whole section, so driving on the bank the whole section, but I didn't get the apex right, so I got shot out, and at that point just steer and don't play with the brakes or accelerator, as both may very well have disastrous effects. All right, Christopher Bieber. Strategy is, I'd say, jump in on mediums, do 2 laps, and then pit and do the last 3 on softs. I'd say that'd be the best advice I can give, because as you can see, I'm on lap 4. There's now spacing between the cars, and it's, you know, at that point, you know the track the best. It was my strategy. I forgot to switch the tires before the race started. I was busy getting water, bathroom, and whatnot. You do not want to be desperate for a P-brake at this point. And watch out for the elevated curbs. They will spin you out in the mid-engine cars. Oh my goodness. That's so cool. Yeah, 2 laps on mediums, absolutely, and then 3 on softs. The 3s will handle it. Just take your last lap on the softs a little easier. Don't push as hard. Don't push at 100%. Crank it down to 95%, and you will be fine. Ooh, Marco just getting off his mediums now. That'll give us a position. Freebie! Out of the power band there. Should have been in 3rd. And race strategy is if you've got a mid-engine, the big advice is to run plus a front bias, so -2 on your scroller here in the game, but bias towards the front. At 2, ooh, I gotta focus on the race here. That's gonna be a penalty. And 1 less than that when you're on the soft. So I'd say ChatGPT at least, and I agree, it was going fine. Just no ability to trail brake, and I'm a late braker, so I have to run this track on 0, whether I'm on the softs or the mediums, but I do risk a little bit more having snap oversteer, having the rear end snap out and whip out on me. There we go, slalom through that section just nicely. Should be full throttle through here, so a little air on my part. All right, we've had our best time through that section. So that's great. Wunderbar. Let's hope we don't get snaked by Vinny the Kid. He's got the snake livery, but hopefully that's not his drive style, because I see a pass on the way. Yeah, when we tried +2 to the rear, so more brakes to the rear, on this track. When we were accelerating out of turns with these elevation changes, we were getting the back end kicking out as well. No, and he didn't snake us at all. He's driving like an actual true sim racer. Back end started to slide out there as I tried to break through that turn. Mistakes were made. Battle for 8th continues. Had to brake there. I know that's a section I should have flown through, but I was going to plow into Vinny. And I do not want to be a snake driver either. I'm having to brake for sections I really shouldn't have to, but when you're the car behind, it doesn't matter if the car in front doesn't get your pace, you're responsible. You cannot just go driving into them and say, oh, well, he was in my way. That is not how racing works. It's Call of Duty style, and it is very bad driving. Oh, everyone's internet all of a sudden. We're all on nearly getting cut out. Everyone on the track here. You can see the ping is high. Some latency. Oh, now it's back. Very odd. So Gran Turismo 7 having just a little bit of trouble with their servers. I'm having to constantly slow down. Now this is what happens to people when they're behind me though as well. So we all take our turn being in front. And on this track being in front, well, this is the result. Oh, here we go, big pass time. Not big pass time there, we got a little, did a good job blocking. Good thing we got that sip of fuel. Next time we'll know to get more than just a sip. Well, in racing, you get one chance to block, but there's no back and forth like he's doing. But what can we do? Not much. Could have passed him there, but we didn't get it done. Oy vey. That would have been a nice finish. Next time. And there we go. So that is that. Oh, but Brandon B getting a huge penalty. I guess he ran mediums and never pitted. So we finished 8th. So we just missed 7th by a hair. But I'm sure we're going to come back later today. If I can find the time, I'm pretty sure now we can get a qualifying time. That instead of starting in 7th, we're gonna, or 8th, wherever we started, 7th or 8th, should be able to start in about 4th or 5th. And we should be able to pull podium today. I feel like we've got the pace. Just have to have a little faith in ourselves. Keep the focus on the track. take what we've learned about tires, go on at first with mediums, do 2 laps on mediums, followed by 3 laps on softs, brake balance at 0 for both sets. I've tuned in. I've now accustomed to running the brake balance at 0. I can have a tiny bit of trail braking, and I don't need as much because I'm doing less late braking as we learn the track. Plus, 1 towards the front would gain us a little bit of stability. And 2 to the front would gain us a lot of stability, but no trail braking possibilities whatsoever. Like, you just touch the brakes a little and the car wants to drive forward or slide off track. So you got to keep that in mind for your balance. I hope this will be from an amateur to, if you're watching and you're also an amateur, hopefully this will be the information you need, the guide, the what not to do with a little bit of what to do, some tidbits of useful information to help you get a decent position. Because look, we finished 8th with very little experience on this track. We've picked up, 7 laps this week of experience on the track prior to running. So with 7 laps of experience, we're able to get 8th in the C League. That will give us actually a good amount of points. And really, getting up to 5th will only get us an extra 4 points. 4th, when you're starting looking at 6 points, 6 points would be interesting. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for making it in. That was our run at the Northcliffe Track World Series 2026 online qualifiers for points rankings. This is where we are so far. For our city, we're 1st. For our main area, it's kind of like the state, but we call it a province. We're in 15th. And those are our stats thus far. Really appreciate that you've all made it in to watch, whether you're watching live or you're watching this not live, right before your race to help you out. I think we've shared a lot of extremely helpful information. We've had a good chat with the people in the live stream, giving good information, excellent information really, from the pros in the live stream. So hopefully you catch this before your race or anytime you want to go and run the Northcliffe. I think that is some solid advice if you're doing more than 1 lap or if there's tire wear on Northcliffe. Obviously, if there's tire wear, you should be able to do at least 1 lap with it, even if they've got it at like +5. But that was running at +2. So at +2, so mind you, +4, you'd get, I don't even know if you get a full 2 laps out of it at tire wear at ×4. So that was our race for today. Thank you so much for making it. I wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal in a car that you love sometime real soon. And if it's not in the real world, this is still my favorite way to drive. However, speaking of real world driving, we do short-term and long-term reviews of vehicles over on Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. And over at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, if you can give it a like and a subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. Head on over there. Give it to this channel as well to help grow our community. With more drivers comes more knowledge, and with more knowledge comes, of course, more power. But over at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, we've got a 1999 Porsche 911 convertible. Long-term testing. We're getting on to our 3rd year of ownership. The real question behind that is, can you own a European sports car without having your wallet or wife run out on you? We've got a 1991 Toyota MR2 on its 4th engine. So really there, the question is the myth that Toyotas never break actually true? Well, funny, they have a lot of mechanics nonetheless at the dealerships, and they're not just doing oil changes. And we've got the 2025 Ford F-150 Tremor. So nice we bought it twice because we had a 2024 that we traded in and we picked it again. Normally get so tired of cars really quickly. I like the spice of life. And we've got the 2017 Shelby GT350 with its incredible world-class 5.2 liter Voodoo engine, not to be mistaken with the later 5.2 liters like we have nowadays, but the 2017 5.2 liter was a Voodoo engine, not a Predator, and as a Voodoo engine, it's the only one to have the flat plane crank. So like a Ferrari, engineered like a Ferrari, and this means that the red line starts at 8,250 RPM. It's incredible. It's got a one-of-a-kind, well, almost one-of-a-kind. There's only a handful of cars on the market that had a flat plane crank V8s in the last 20 years. So Godspeed and God bless everyone, and likely see you back for another attempt at this track.